Ocean Soup, a recipe for you, me, and a cleaner sea, by Meg Pincus. Illustrated by Lucy Semple. Ocean Soup. From afar, the vast ocean appears pure and clean. How it sparkles and shimmers, a beautiful scene. But dig in a bit deeper and test a small scoop, and you'll see that up close, the sea looks more like soup. Ocean soup has been stewing for decades of days. It has been simmered by sun and congealed under haze. Many chefs made this murky confetti-like brew a concoction of habits that bubble and grew. It began when a new crop of products first came, used by folks unaware they'd be later to blame. They drank coffee from styrofoam cups topped with lids, and bought single-use bottles to hydrate their kids. Out to eat they grabbed heaps of containers and straws. And at stores they took throwaway bags without pause. They used microbead soaps, wore synthetic attire, and for parties they blew up balloons to inspire. Do you wonder how all of this produced ocean soup? How such everyday habits made saltwater goop? The real problem is plastic. It's in all that stuff. Whether hard or elastic, that plastic is tough. Once it's made, any plastic is with us to stay. It's still on Earth till forever. There's no real away. People throw out their plastic and think that it's gone. But most dumps overflow and excess trash moves on. Much ends up in the sea, churning round the Five Gyres, the huge saltwater whirlpools where breakdown transpires. As time passes, the gyres turn the plastic to specks, which then can't be cleaned up, causing endless effects. Once the plastic pureed in the gyre's mighty waves, it spills out as a soup that no animal craves. Yet it's gulped by dolphins, the whales, and the seals, and it's slurped by the fish and the plankton and eels. It's in icebergs, in inlets, the deep ocean floor. It's snatched up by seabirds, the turtles, and more. The ocean soup fills the bellies of all in the sea, and if we eat fish too, it's in you and me. Are you wishing those chefs had not cooked up this mess? That they'd known one-use products would cause such distress? It's time for us new chefs to enter the scene with a recipe crafted to get our seas clean. First, we can call on the makers, go straight to the top. Tell them all of this plastic production must stop. Then we practice new habits, preventing more stew with reusable items and natural ones too. This won't always be easy, we'll have to think to remember our bottles and straws when we drink, and to carry cloth bags and choose all cotton clothes. When we're offered new plastic, less yeses and more noses. Ocean soup may have simmered before we're here, but the call for us to pitch in rings out clear. We will need many chefs to help clean up the seas, starting here in our kitchen with you and with me. Ocean soup's roots began in the 1940s when inventors created plastic from leftover waste materials of coal, oil, gas. In the 1950s, companies touted it as a cheap, lightweight, throwaway material and began mass producing it in many forms. People got used to plastic. Companies today produce nearly 400 million tons of it yearly, less than 10% of which is recycled. This has led to what we call in this book ocean soup, the more than 51 trillion particles of plastic smog taking over the Earth's oceans. That's 500 times more plastic particles in the sea than stars in the galaxy. It starts with larger plastic pieces that land in the ocean and get sucked into 5 huge subtropical whirlpools called gyres. One, the North Pacific Gyre, nicknamed the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which makes it sound like we can see all of the trash there and just clean it up, but we can't. The gyre's circular currents are so strong that a piece of plastic will swirl around for 10 years or more, like a very long toilet flush. Amid the current, waves and ultraviolet light, plastics in the gyres become brittle and break down to microparticles and smaller than grains of rice. These seep out into the seawater around the globe, creating a toxic soup that's impossible to separate. And then we have the top 4 types of plastic that pollute the world's seas. Ocean soup's main ingredients: plastic bags, plastic bottles, plastic straws, and styrofoam containers. These plastics are the next most common ocean soup ingredients: microfibers, balloons, fishing gear, and microbeads.